Take me back to your first basketball memory, the first time you had a ball in your hands, and how did you ever imagine at that point you'd be a championship coach?
No, I didn't grow up to be a coach. I grew up to be a player. I remember my first memory of basketball is watching my uncle Jim Brewer play at Proviso East High School. And I fell in love with the game. My mom always said all the kids ran under the bleachers during the game, and I used to sit in that first row and never move. I mean, I was just fixed on basketball. So it's been a part of my life, my entire life.
When you think about the coaches you had that shaped the kind of coach you are, who are the guys that come to mind?
I'm the luckiest coach on earth as far as the fact that I had great coaching. I really did. Glenn Wittenberg, I still think, and no one has heard of him. He was my high school coach, one of the winningest high school coach in Illinois history. Was not a good coach. He was a great coach. It was always about defense. Then you go to Hank Ramons and Rick Majerus, Mike Fratello, Larry Brown, Pat Riley. I mean, I've had great coaching, and all of them have molded who I am right now.
What about just the experience last year of not really getting to defend the title the way you guys would have liked to, not healthy? What did you learn about yourself as a coach and about your team in general?
Well, I don't know what I ever learned as, I don't get into what I think I've, learned more or less as a coach. I thought the experience of last year was a learning experience for all of us. Being a defending champion and every night everybody attacking you is an experience. It's a great experience to go through, but it's a very difficult one. And you learn a lot about people as well, as far as your players, how they handled success. I thought some handled it very well, and quite frankly, I thought some didn't handle it as well, and that was a learning experience as well.
You're likely one of the last coaches that this organization will ever see that knew Red Auerbach on any level.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and what did you take from the times you did get to interact with Red?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Red in the short time that we were together. The thing I loved about Red for me, and this is more personal, is how he took me in and just adopted me into the Celtic family right away. He understood how to give me advice, and so I'll never forget that.
What goes through your mind? It's different as a player, but in the moments before tip-off as a coach, is it the same kind of experience as far as?
No, it's completely different. As a player, you just think about playing. You think about playing the guy you're going up against. You're thinking about the competition and the winning. As a coach, you're trying to predict. You're trying to predict everything that may happen in the game, from out of bounds stuff that they may run to stuff you may run, to just everything. I think as a coach, you have to prepare for so many more things.
You talked about the out-of-bounds stuff. This team's always been seemingly good at out-of-bounds plays.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from? Is that
I don't know.
Like,
no.
in terms of drawing things up, or where does that come from?
Sometimes I do. I just think of stuff during the game. But I think you're preparing yourself before the game, and then the game dictates what you're going to do. But listen, honestly, I mean, you can't run stuff without good players, and you can't run stuff without players willing to want to execute. And when you have that, you have a chance of scoring.
When you need advice, who do you talk to?
Oh, I talk to a lot of people. It depends on the type of advice. If it's basketball advice, it's probably one of my ex-coaches, Larry or Pat, or one of those, Mike Fratello, I talk to a lot during the year. And if it's something else, I go to a lot of venues. My mom is still always great advice for me. But I'll ask my kids advice. I mean, so I'm a big believer in seeking out.
And finally, when you came here to take this job, in some ways this team was just another of the 30 teams, and you really had a role in reversing that, bringing the team there. What does that mean to you?
It means the world to me. When I took this job, there was a lot of coaches who called me and advised me to pass on this job. The Celtics are not a good team. The brand is so big, and being not a good team, you can't be successful. And I thought the exact opposite. I wanted to be part of the group who brought the Celtics back. And that was my goal when I came in here. I stated that when I took the job. And to have us to be significant again is really important, and I don't take that lightly.